Returning to our developing news involving the hacking on the U.S. military.
Hackers claiming to work on behalf of the Islamic State militants took over the Twitter and YouTube sites of U.S. Central Command today. They had control of those sites, too, for about 45 minutes. They filled them with threats to American soldiers and included what appeared to be names and phone numbers of military personnel. Central Command is in the process right now of removing the threatening messages. Joining us to discuss the incident is NBC 10 military analyst Colonel Rick Kiernan. Colonel, we of course appreciate your time. Give us some perspective here about how closely this type of information is really guarded.
It's guarded very well. I used to be assigned to CENTCOM, so I'm familiar with their OPSEC, we call it, operational security, and a lot of it is very preemptive. And their command climate down there in Tampa at MacDill Air Force Base is very, very secure with high alert. So I think when something like this is alleged to have happened, that just ups it. But I think in cybersecurity standards, our men and women are as skilled and expert in this as the folks who are trying to hack in.
How up-to-date is the information leaked, and what kind of impact could that have from a terrorist cell?
Well, Jackie, I had a chance to look at a sampling of what was hacked, and some of it was very disparate. Some of it was for areas of responsibility, or AORs as we call them, which was not even assigned to CENTCOM. Many of the installations and the spreadsheets and rosters that they have were, number one, outdated, and number two, they referred to installations here in the United States over which CENTCOM has no responsibility.
But still, Colonel, you have to take this threat as being a legitimate threat, as looking out for these people. Is that correct? Or do you think they look at this as maybe it is of the past, this is outdated, we don't have to be so concerned about it?
No, I think you always need to be vigilant, and I think something like this just makes you take a look so you don't sit back and take things for granted. But I think also that we take a look at these rosters, we take a look at the information, and consider context. It was put out on social media platforms, be it Twitter and social media like YouTube. A lot of the information and messages that go into these platforms, where it is classified, go out in various ways, in a compartmentalized way, where there are firewalls between the messages and the transmissions. And then as backup, we even have telephonic communication of classified information, and that also is put out on KY-8s and KY-38s, where there's messaging and there is scrambling of the messages while you speak.
All right, so why this information happened to be outdated, we know that may not always be the case, so good information to know. NBC 10 military analyst Colonel Rick Kiernan, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And be sure to watch NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams for the latest developments in the military hacking investigation. It starts at 6:30 right after NBC 10 News.
Well, back here at home, we have new information about the deadly crash that killed a 10